Hey friends, this is my long version of my series on the Weasley family. I hope you guys enjoy. Arthur was a little bit older than Molly, but they both graduated Hogwarts around the 1960s and they eloped soon after. Not a whole lot is known about their wedding, but what they do say is that a lot of people at that time period, because of the First War, they were eloping. A lot of people were panicked, but Molly and Arthur really truly loved each other. Like, they got married because they wanted to be together and they loved each other. So they had their first child, Bill, in 1970, and about over the next 10 years, they had a total of 7 children with Bill Beasley. See there? Did I say Bill Beasley? Bill was the oldest. He was a prefect while at Hogwarts, and he also earned head boy while he was there. After Hogwarts, he went on to work at Gringotts Banks out in Egypt as a curse breaker. A little bit of backstory, though, about Bill Weasley's time at Hogwarts. He got into quite a bit of trouble. We all think that the twins are the worst ones, and they did all the pranks and stuff, but Bill was into some serious stuff. He made friends with this kid named Jacob, who ended up getting expelled for searching for and trying to find secret cursed vaults throughout Hogwarts. Bill makes friends with one of Jacob's siblings, and it's not named, he's not named, he's just always referred to as Jacob's sibling throughout, the storytelling that I find online of Bill's early life. But anyway, Bill probably went into his job because he was so obsessed with finding these secret vaults around Hogwarts and breaking into them and learning curses and learning all of these, interesting things that he wasn't really supposed to learn. But I think that's really cool because it's the secret vaults in Hogwarts Legacy, like the details in Hogwarts Legacy, but that's going to be a different day. I'm not talking about that today, sorry. Bill came to his family's aid and came back to London pretty quickly after, things started getting bad, and joined the Order of the Phoenix. This is also when he met Fleur, started courting her, courting her, and they got engaged after a year of knowing each other. So we really just see his facial scar and get absolutely zero context, but Bill played a much bigger role in the books than we ever see in the movies. Bill, along with several other members of the Order, came to, Hermione's call for help. They came for the Battle of the Astronomy Tower, when Snape alerted them that, Death Eaters came in and shit was going down. During the battle, Finnick Greyback wasn't fully transformed, so when he attacked Bill, he just violently scarred him, but he didn't turn him into a werewolf because Finnick was not fully transformed in that moment himself. And that just is not given any context in the movies. Like, people have asked me, oh, is Bill a werewolf now? No, he just has the tendencies of a werewolf, as Fleur makes the joke that he likes his steaks, or actually Lupin makes the jokes that he likes his steaks on the raw side now, but I think in the book it's Fleur that actually says it, because she says, I'm pretty enough for the both of us. He just eats his steaks raw. Bill was also at the Battle of Hogwarts at the end and witnessed Harry defeating Voldemort. Charlie Weasley was the second boy in the Weasley family, and he was also a prefect while at Hogwarts. So we don't meet Charlie in the movies until Goblet of Fire, when they just briefly mention that he's the one that brought the dragons for the first task. The books, however, introduce him in Philosopher's Stone as Hagrid has to get rid of his pet dragon Norbert, and Ron comes up with the idea to send him with his brother Charlie to Romania. Charlie was also a seeker for Gryffindor during his time there, and he was, on record, a really good Quidditch player. Because he was at school at the same time as his older brother Bill, and he learned what Bill was doing, he started looking for dragons in the Forbidden Forest and throughout the castle, and started going with Bill to search for these secret vaults. It's even recorded that Charlie tried to buy dragon eggs from strangers while he was at Hogwarts, but it ended up being an acromanthia egg, but he still went on his mission and tried to find dragons throughout the castle. It's also not mentioned in the movies, but I think he's kind of just there in the background, that technically in the books, Charlie was with his family at the Quidditch World Cup, and he also traveled by Portkey to aid his family in the last Battle of Hogwarts. He's also there when Harry defeats Voldemort. He's just in the background. He's not named in the movie. Some cute little fun facts about him growing up. He used to try and turn family pets into dragons, and he would make Errol, their owl, fly around with a dragon mask, and he would document his dragon observations. He was also best man at Bill's wedding, and he was the only Weasley child to never marry and never have children. Percy was the third child in the Weasley family. He was a prefect, he was head boy, and he was known to be incredibly rigid about the rules. I kind of went over this in my Ginny deep dive, but what we miss about him in Chamber of Secrets is that he's sneaking around dating Penelope Clearwater. Draco sees him sneaking around and thinks that he's trying to find the heir to Slytherin and doing all these things when he's really just trying to find a makeout spot. And he also stops Ginny from confessing to Ron and Harry, you know, about the book and what's going on because he thinks she's about to rat on him about Penelope Clearwater. So after he leaves Hogwarts, Percy goes on to work for the Ministry, and he very quickly gets some promotions that makes Arthur really suspicious. So after Goblet of Fire, Voldy's come back, and the Ministry's in denial. Percy sides with the Ministry. He fully is like, no, you guys are crazy. You shouldn't listen to Dumbledore. You shouldn't listen to Harry. Is sending Ron letters that Harry's lying, like all this stuff. So Arthur thinks that Percy got his promotion because the Ministry's trying to keep tabs on them, and Percy's like, no, it's not happening. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, he just fully believes in the Ministry and estranges himself from his whole family. Like, it was so bad that he didn't go see Arthur when he was in the hospital after being attacked by Nagini, and Molly sent him his Christmas gift, and he sent it back unwrapped. Another detail I totally forgot in Prisoner of Azkaban was that Molly actually had Percy follow Harry around the school because she was so worried about him, and Dumbledore trusted Percy so much to keep the students safe. Anyway, back to the end of Order of the Phoenix. After the Ministry is like, oh, we were wrong, Percy's shame and guilt just keeps him from coming back to the family. He just feels really bad. So once the Ministry fully falls to the Death Eaters, that's when Percy's like, okay, I'm part of the problem and I need to get out of here. So he just disappears from the Ministry. He's actually the one that tipped off Aberforth Dumbledore about the Battle of Hogwarts and then went to his family's aid in the battle in the end. He was also right next to Fred, fighting alongside him when it happened. After the war, Percy went on to get married, and he had two. There were the fourth and fifth children of the Weasley family, and they became beaters for the Gryffindor team in their second year at Hogwarts. And Oliver Wood described them as human bludgers. In their first year at Hogwarts, they actually followed after their older brothers and tried to find the last secret cursed vault at Hogwarts and, constantly going off on their pranks and trying new things. Fred and George were actually able to start their shop because Harry gave them his winnings from the Triwizard Tournament so that way they could go on and make a store with their magical jokes. Because of that, Harry gets free merch for life, but Ron gets nothing. Another wizarding detail that the movies don't tell you is that you actually have to pass your apparition test the same way you would pass a driving test. So both of the twins passed it on their first try. Percy actually had to take it twice, and they reamed him about it. In the Order of the Phoenix, the Slytherin Quidditch team made a very rude song about Muggleborns and Harry's late parents and the Weasley family and all of these things, which made Harry and Fred and George really angry, causing them to fight Draco, which got the three of them all kicked off of the Quidditch team that year. In Half-Blood Prince, while Harry, Ron, and Hermione are shopping in the Fred and George's shop, Percy actually comes in to try and interrogate Harry, to which the twins protect them, and George starts throwing mashed parsnips at Percy, causing him to leave. Also, I hate that the movies never mention Peeves. Peeves is such an elite character in the books, and the twins were super cool with him. So the twins were encouraging Peeves and the other students to continue mayhem after they leave the school in Order of the Phoenix. Also in their shop, it wasn't just jokes. Fred and George also made a Defense Against the Dark Arts line with shielding hats and cloaks and other things. In Deathly Hallows Part 1, we all know how George loses his ear. It's actually Snape who casts a Sectum Sempra curse, and he misplaces it. We know that Snape's on our side. He wasn't trying to hit him, but he hits George, and George loses an ear. I really don't want to do this part, but I kind of have to. So yeah, in the last battle for Hogwarts, Percy and Fred are fighting alongside each other, and an explosion does the unmentionable to our sweet Fred. George goes on to marry Angelina Johnson, and he has a son that he names after Fred. He continues to run the shop by himself, and then after Ron is an Auror for 2 years, he then comes and helps George run the shop and makes it a really big success. Have you guys heard the headcanon where George won't blow out his candles and he won't celebrate his birthday until one year his son Fred asks him, Dad, why don't you have a birthday cake? Let's blow out candles. And George is like, only if you blow them out with me. Did you know that Ron is terrified of spiders because Fred and George charmed his teddy bear to turn into a giant spider after Ron accidentally broke Fred's toy broomstick? In Chamber of Secrets, Ron also helped reseal the chamber, and he was awarded 200 points to the house, and he was given the special award for his duties to the school. So the movies mention that Sirius gets into the Gryffindor common room during Prisoner of Azkaban, but it leaves out a fabulous scene. So imagine Ron in his sleep. I think Scabbers is like missing at this time still. Correct me if I'm wrong. Ron in his sleep. Curtains along the bed, ripping back. He wakes up in a start. Sirius Black is standing over him with a knife. And Ron screams and loses his mind. Wakes up the entire Gryffindor house. McGonagall's there. Like, everybody's losing their minds. Like, Sirius Black was here. What happened? So Ron accounts the story as he thinks that Sirius was just at the wrong bed, that he was looking for Harry and just happened to end up in the wrong bed. Something else that I thought would have been really funny in the movies is in Goblet of Fire, they actually come and try and get Harry from the Dursley household. The whole Weasley family tries to flue powder into the Dursley household, and their chimney's all blocked up, and they like destroy the house in the process. So after the wizarding tournament, when everybody's freaking out, Ron, Harry, and Hermione don't get separated. They actually end up following Draco into the woods after Draco warns Hermione that she's going to be attacked by the Death Eaters. They end up stumbling upon a group of like Vila witches, and Ron is entranced by their magic. This is broken when they hear an unknown voice in the woods cast the dark mark into the sky, and they all see it at the same time. Also, never mentioned, Ron made prefect in his 5th year. Good for him. And because of it, his parents got him a Queen Sleep 11 broom for his playing Quidditch. Ron was also not the greatest player, but he tried his best. So Ron also continued to take Hagrid's Magical Creatures class, and he learned about Thestrials and Order of the Phoenix in Hagrid's class. In the battle against Hogwarts, it is Ron and Neville together who are the ones that defeat Finnick Greyback. Ron went on to be an Auror for 2 years after the war, after he left Hogwarts, and then after that he went and he helped George at the shop. Also, something I forgot, in Prisoner of Azkaban, Sirius sends Ron a new owl to replace his pet, and Hermione names the owl Pigwidgeon, and Ron nicknames it Pig. But if you play Harry Potter, the little Lego one, you know that owl. Ron and Hermione go on to have 2 children, Rose and Hugo. Rose is the oldest child, and as they are sending her off for her first year, Ron pulls her aside and is like, you should score higher marks than Scorpius Malfoy. But that is the Weasley family. I did a 6-part deep dive for Ginny Weasley a couple days ago, so if you want to hear more about Ginny, I did a whole separate series about her, so you can go check that out. But thank you guys for watching.
Thanks for watching. Give me a kiss.